This is Rabbi Schaff with thoughts on the weekly Torah portion. This week is Parshas Pinchas. God makes a covenant of peace with Pinchas. Hinini no sein lo as brisi shalom. I give him my covenant of peace. And that is because Pinchas did an act of violence and war. He saw Zimri, the leader of the tribe of Shimon, and Cosbi, a princess of Midian, publicly announcing their relationship, publicly condoning intermarriage. And Pinchas said, no, that's not right. And he stormed in and killed the two of them. And because of that, a lot of people were upset at him, and they felt that this was an act of violence. And God says, I'm giving you the covenant of peace. But that peace should come from an act of violence like this, that this brings about peace in some way, that what he did was an action of peace, requires a lot more understanding. Certainly he squelched a religious rebellion of some kind. But to say that he was a person of peace, perhaps peace would mean for us to sit down and allow people to do whatever they want and not fight them and not have to kill them. If I can only have peace after killing out a portion of the population, is that really peace? When the Jewish people stood at Sinai, they were ke'ish echad belev echad. They were unified entirely, like one person with one soul, our sages tell us. I mean, they were just totally unified for the last time in history. Since then, it's never been that unified. And the question is, what happened? Why is it that when we got the Torah, we became a people, we became less unified? You would think, if anything, that would have a more unifying effect on this nation that was so inspired to receive the Torah. When the Jews stood at Sinai, they saw the angels. They saw the angels come, our sages tell us. They saw 22 10,000s of angels. Chaf beis revavos. Huge numbers of angels, and they saw them under flags, and they desired flags. What are these flags, and why do they want them? Our sages tell us that an angel is his mission. Angels only have one mission. No two angels share a mission. Angels are intensely unique. Each one has his own mission, and they have, you would think, nothing to do with the other angels, and yet they work completely harmoniously and completely together with all the other angels. Before the giving of the Torah, the Jewish people didn't yet have the Torah. If you don't stand for anything, it's very easy to be at peace with everybody. But the moment that you have opinions, you have a way you see the world, you have things that you think are right and other things that are wrong, one of the great challenges of life becomes to be a person of peace. The verse talks about emes v'shalom ehavu. It says truth and peace. Rav Hirsch explained that when truth comes first, peace is incredibly valuable. When there is no truth first, peace is easy, but it's not really peace. Our sages tell us that when two people sit down to study the Torah together, each person becomes an enemy of the other person. They don't accept the other person's opinions. Nasu oivim, they become enemies, and only at the end do they truly love each other. Because you can only really love someone when you understand them and you value them. But because we all see the world differently, we all don't agree with the other person on every detail. It's when we know who we are and we see how that opposes other people, and then we learn to accept and deal with them. When we know what is okay and what is not okay, that we can truly have shalom. A peace that is about everybody doing their own thing and nobody standing for anything isn't really peace, it's chaos. Pinchas gets the covenant of peace because he has absolute moral clarity. When a person has moral clarity, when they stand up for something that is right, and they put their life on the line to defend good over evil, right over wrong, such a person brings peace to the world, because only when you have clarity as to who you are can you bring peace to the world. The angels were all total individuals, and yet they worked harmoniously together. And that's what it means. The Jewish people at Sinai saw that, and they desired the flags, the unity, the clarity of purpose that would immediately be absent once 600,000 people, families, groups, became partners in the Torah, each one seeing it their own way. Before the Torah was given, it says the Jews left Egypt in the merit of not changing their names. They kept Jewish names. They didn't change their language. They spoke like Jews. They didn't change their clothing. They dressed like Jews. They didn't reveal secrets about one another. They had an identity as a people, but they didn't really stand for much. What do those clothes stand for? What do those values stand for? When the Torah was given and it stood for something, It made everybody an enemy of anyone else at first. Anyone who disagrees with me or sees things differently is in the way of my relationship with God. And learning how to sort that out and be uniquely unified with everyone else, while at the same time being an individual, is a great secret. It's a secret of the love that comes within a marriage, love that comes between people. It's not about ignoring who the other person is, it's about learning who they are, learning who you are, accepting who that person is, and then learning to live with them. One of the things that people desire most in the world, it's one of the most basic human needs, is to be completely and totally accepted for who they are. Just loved and accepted for who they are. That doesn't mean that we love and accept every choice that a person makes. I can love my child totally and completely, knowing that they are sometimes stubborn and they are sometimes difficult and they sometimes do things that I don't care for. But I entirely love that stubborn, wonderful, sweet person who, as part of their personality, has that little bit of stubbornness. And I'm not trying to get rid of that, even if I would like them to sometimes make better choices rather than the wrong choices. To be completely accepted means that you have to understand other people. Teachers need to accept their students. Parents need to accept their spouses and their children. And we need to accept other people for who they are. We don't have to agree with them, and we don't have to condone everything that they do. But we need to accept that they exist and that that's who they are. We crave this so intensely. The Jewish people craved these flags. They craved to have a way to be at the same time a tremendously independent individual and at the same time to be unified with other people. It's the great challenge of human history to try to make this into a reality. And Pinchas lets us know that shalom, true shalom, can only come when a person has a very, very clear sense of right and wrong and knows just who they are and what they stand for. Thank you so much for being with us for this week's Thoughts of Torah. Please join us again next week.